他又不教我怎么结束这个放映，我也是。
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
我还是治愈类游戏啊，完全就是来治愈。
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again. The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
这里应该是可去可不去的。
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
“搞错了，这里才是可去可不去吗？”
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. After Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got pretty sick of salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
完蛋了，我在走回头路了，不知道怎么推进了。这里都是来过的。
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
有点卡剧情了，不知道走哪里了，还是说已经可以出这个房子了？
The power had been turned off the night we left.
有点懵逼了，应该还是问题还是在2楼吧。关键我2楼是怎么出来的，我都忘记了。这家伙就活了11年。